Because, he didn't get it. But her attitude never changed, Every day she'd wake up, she'd look at herself in the mirror, and she'd go, I'm round. I'm pink. I'm hot. I got it going on. And that little green frog doesn't know what he's missing. And one day, if he's lucky, he'll wake up and figure it out, and I might still be around. And she didn't have any problem using violence if somebody didn't get her quite as well as she got herself. And I really could have used a little bit of that attitude. How many of you, I don't even have to ask this, how many of you went to middle school? I did, or I wouldn't be here, right? How many of you can remember going to middle school and can remember at least one less than kind thing that somebody may or may not have said to you while you were there? Right? Our peers can be cruel. When I was in 6th grade, just newly graduated into middle school life, a whole new future, I was a total misfit. I was a year older. I was a year taller. My mother and father decided it'd be a great idea to put me in braces, headgear, and rubber bands when I was 8. Every class photo, right, because I'm a year older than everybody else in the public school system, there's like future cheerleaders of America, future linebackers of America, and Shannon, all the way on the end. Skyscraper tall with short, black, bowl-cut hair, braces, headgear, and rubber bands. I look like a tall, dark male alien. And to make matters worse, I hit puberty a year earlier than my classmates, and guess what? They noticed. So when I got to middle school, I thought, this is going to be the disaster of a lifetime. It's like watching, a ship come down or something. But at least I have my best friend, Leslie, with me. She's been with me since grade school. We've been best friends since kindergarten. At least I have one friend. And Leslie walks up to me in the middle of the cafeteria a few weeks into my 6th grade year and corners me and says, I hear you've been telling people we're friends. And I'm looking at her like, have you started speaking Latin? Like, translation, please? Yes. And she says, well, in case you haven't noticed, we're in middle school now, and I would really like to be popular, and you're just too fat to fit into the social circle I want to run with. So I would really appreciate it if you don't tell people that we know one another anymore. I didn't wheel back and pow. I didn't even ask for a second opinion. In fact, I didn't have to because people were lining up to tell me the same thing. I just decided, problem, I'm too big to be loved. Solution, I need to get smaller. Means, I think I'll go on a diet. Which landed me in the middle of a battle for my life that lasted for 15 years. I wish that I would have realized that when Leslie said what she did, it really wasn't about me at all. She might as well have stripped down naked in the middle of the cafeteria and run screaming around the edges of the lunchroom yelling, I'm insecure. I'm afraid nobody's going to love me. But I didn't get it. I really thought she was talking about me. We could all use a little dose of what Miss Piggy's got. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever heard of Marla Sokoloff, actress now in her 20s. She became popular when she was still a teenager. And last time I Googled her name, she probably had 20 fan sites, all run by young, admiring male fans. I can tell they're young, admiring, and male because I read their posts. They have nothing wrong. They see nothing wrong with her curves. And yet when she was asked by a TV reporter, when was the last time that you felt good about your body? I mean, think about that for yourself. When was the last time you woke up and you looked in the mirror and you were like, yeah, man, somebody's going to be lucky to get me today. I mean, she said, maybe it was on the day I was born. There's something wrong with my knees. They're knees. I mean, as long as they're doing this, we're good. I mean, when I was little, I had a favorite outfit. a favorite outfit as in singular. I felt like wearing it every day. I wore it every day. It wasn't until my peers and my parents informed me that it is socially acceptable to change outfits from day to day that I woke up to the fact that I was doing something wrong. Same thing with knees. When we're little, our body is functional. If it's working, we're happy. I didn't think anything about clothing or appearance or knees or hips. What is that? Which point to where that is on my body? I don't know. I don't care. We learn this, and how we learn it is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Now, it is Eating Disorders Awareness Week, and eating disorder is an eating disorder is an eating disorder. They come in every shape and size. One is not better or worse than the other. I like to call them two ugly sides of the same ugly coin. This gentleman on my left and your right actually passed away after writing a book about his experiences with anorexia, and obviously this gentleman still has some work to do in his battle. So, and you know, really, whether it's anorexia, which is of course the one you saw on your right and my left, or compulsive overeating or binge eating disorder, which is the one you saw on the right, or the spectrum in between, bulimia, which is the purging type, or eating disorders not otherwise specified, which encompasses a wide variety of characteristics that may or may not fit into any one criteria. They're all still equally deadly. And they're all still equally treatable. Especially when we have awareness, knowledge is the most important thing. So I'd like to invite you now to join me in a little story. I used to live and work in a place that had a big rose garden out back. And one day I was out back weeding, and somebody, you know, the person that was helping me was like, "Oh, you need to pull that out, it's a weed." And I was just like, why? So I ended up thinking about it, you know, where did we come up with the idea of you know, rose or daisy or any other flower being pretty, for instance. And so I'd like to just invite you in a little contemplation. Let's just say, like me, you wake up every day, and out back in your backyard is the most beautiful rose garden. And you're so proud of this garden, and you wake up every morning, look forward to seeing it, and you take such good care of it. And you know everything about all the roses. You know about their breed and their variety and their color and their type and where they came from and why they're important and where they fit in the genus and species. And so every morning you get up with your coffee or your tea or Diet Coke or whatever it is, and you run outside to congratulate yourself again for having the most beautiful flowers in the world, the most beautiful garden in the world. And then one day you wake up, and you grab your caffeine of choice, and you waltz out into the backyard to pat yourself on the back, and you stop. And you stare, because something isn't right. Right smack dab in the middle of your carefully cultivated roses-only garden is a very tall, round, neon, yellow daisy. What would you do? Anyone? What would you do? How would you respond to this new situation? There are no right or wrong answers. Your teachers are not grading you, and neither am I. Yes? Take the daisy out and put it in your kitchen. Nice. Nice. Excellent answer. Anybody else? Yes. I can't hear you. You would leave it in there. Why? Yes. You know, most of the time when I do these exercises, and both answers are the equivalent. Both answers are the same. And there is no right or wrong answer. But you know, a lot of times when I do this with like, say, middle school age girls, I'll ask the question, and they get kind of violent. They're like, "Miss, I would get the garden shears, and I would chop its head off, and then I would cut it up, and then I'd bury it in the ground." I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm never going to get on your bad side, you know. Peace, love, tolerance, it's a daisy. You know, and then usually after a while, there's one young woman that will say very bravely, "I would leave it if I think it is pretty.